Alright, hello everybody and happy Tuesday. Just taking a break from some household chores and figured I'd do some of this. Oh, it's so great, my neighborhood. Like, it's a lot of people. Like, there's some lady out there laughing, kind of cackling, and it almost sounds like the Bloodborne Laughing Ladies shack in the first area of Yarnum. Like, I don't know. I kind of want to play some Bloodborne tonight. I don't know. We'll see if it's Elden Ring or some of this, or either way, I gotta basically move a computer desk from one room to another to make room for some other furniture that we just got in, or that we're getting in. And so, procrastination stuff, and finally getting a bunch of the kids' old clothes off to like, I think I'm gonna go to Goodwill, just for lack of a better idea. I mean, whether you love it, like them or not, they are doing a service, getting stuff, holding stuff, and like getting it to people. But there's a lot of controversy over like the CEO of Goodwill being like extremely rich, or the income of these people, of these nonprofits, or these like charity organizations. I mean, which doesn't mean that they're just like bad things, but and I actually knew somebody that worked there for a bit, so it was employing someone I knew. So I mean, even just that is good and worth it. So yeah, I'll take it to Goodwill. It's also kind of a nightmare going there though. There's this other place in Foco, Clothes Pony, and a lot of these clothes are pretty nice. I mean, barely worn and pretty like I mean, did a lot of Target and Walmart, so I mean, it's a toss-up. Like donating Walmart, yeah, but donating Target stuff is a little better. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like we were building some things and stuff. Let's get a. Oh wow, just fell into like precipice. Let's get some. Oh, let's get some llamas. All right. No, I was just watching some Better Call Saul, like for the seventh, eighth time through, but um, and I just love it, like without giving any spoilers or anything, just like the projection. I think that's part of what makes both those shows, the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, just amazing and like my favorite shows. And it's funny because anybody that knows me knows that I've always not really been a fan of meth or people that do it. Like it's well, tweakers, and I used to be kind of prejudiced against people that used the old methamphetamines, and that's what Breaking Bad's all about is distribution of that. So like I don't know, but at the same time, like, just the range of human emotion, human problem solving, human necessity, like for people that live that kind of life, like outlaws or whatnot, and like, and even up until just very recently, cannabis or marijuana made you an outlaw like that. Whoops, gotta talk to him to be trading. Let's see, let that die. Take the flowers. Oops. All right, and we shall take your llamas. Did I miss it? Where'd the other one go? There we go. Anyways, just really yucking it up. I don't know, and I also worry that like my voice carries, because if I can hear them that well, I wonder like if they're just hearing like this guy mumbling, talking up here. Although sound's an interesting thing, because like at work, my coworker and I sometimes will have like music quietly going, and you literally cannot hear it out in the main area because of how we close the door. And it's not even like the door is closed, like I'd say even halfway, it's just slightly closed. But just the acoustics of like and where the music's coming from. I guess maybe it's just a really heavy door, but like yeah, you like can't hear it at all. And then you walk into the room, you're like, oh, you're playing music. So, or maybe I'm just going deaf and like people really can't hear all this, and it's like, whoa, it's kind of awkward. So, oh, we need another lead for that one. Although I don't know where I'd put him. I'd have to pretty much take that one off. Let's go see if we can facilitate that. Let's continue on building our monuments of study. And basically, oh yeah, there we go. Um, what I want to build to, I mean, we started just making a marker for like, okay, let's see. I wonder if this is how you do it. Oh, okay. That worked out too. There we go. Now we can put these back and use them for future llamas. Oh, that's what we should do. Let's build the llama lounge, and while we talk about the problem solving, and then I'll probably do some off screen stuff. Let's see. We need a flotsam. That's what these are for. Chuck everything in here. Eventually, I'll go through and sort these things and do stuff with them. But like for now, like when I'm just, it's almost like meditation, just like calm, relaxing, playing. You know, not really accomplishing much. Just. Also, wait a minute. These? Why did I put a bunch of these down here? Interesting. I forgot. I walk by them like every time we're in here, but no. So build a llama lounge. I mean, we do talk about this stuff a lot. Like this is the main thing. Like I've got like 3 or 4 seasons or entire playlists of problem solving. That's important. Like you continue to repeat and like return, see about your solution, see if it's still viable, see if there isn't something better out there. So, like even just recently, I was talking about how housing. I was just watching one of my videos, and like I was talking about housing. I mean, how it's bad and like trailer parks. Like I wish those were actually viable because I mean, and especially in Colorado, like it gets so cold. I had a trailer during my gap year, like after high school, and I spent like 300 a month just to heat the dang thing. Let alone trying to like live comfortably, like get furniture, get all this, and like, because I was headed off to college, I was just sticking around for a little bit, so I needed something temporary, and I wasn't about to try to live with the parentals while all my friends were off. Like, well, not all my friends, but like I felt like a lot of people were like headed off to college and being free and all this, and I had senioritis all bad. I was just ready to be done, and then it's like, oh, guess what? You get to stay with your parents another year, and it's like, nah, I want to be free. I want to have that freedom. So. But I mean, it's still true. I was actually just talking with someone about how there's places that are buying up trailer parks and a bunch of old people are living there on fixed incomes and whatnot. And then like the places keep raising the lot rent. And so like they might own the home or the trailer, but like they don't own the lot. And I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a bunch of momentum to where that's not happening. First of all, and second of all, just like making them rent to own. Like it's one thing if these companies want to buy up all these properties, but then they need to sell them back to the community, like, or at least make it attainable. I mean, because the business model of just like buying up all the things and like changing the rents and just like manipulating things and like just basically doing whatever you want, it's not ethical. Like, it needs to be, or at least some competition, like some other people offering, like, you know what, we'll do this, and then the markets will tend to dictate that because as the popularity decreases for places that don't do that, they're going to lose out on their business and their business model goes away. So, I mean, it's a constant struggle of like trying to make these things right, but as long as we have awareness and communication about it, then we can make the changes. So, but it needs to be communicated in a way that's effective. Like Sierra Club, it's a great organization. They do a lot of like campaigning, protesting, and all this, but it's a lot, like to be active in that and stuff. So I mean, I don't know, it's hard, but finding a way to get like more awareness, but at the same time, I don't know. Plus, I'm also involved in trying to like figure out my own other problems and raise awareness for things that it's like, yeah, that's great that you're doing that, but I'm over here trying to do this, and I hope they understand, but and people are busy. Life is busy. Let's see. Sorry, I just started thinking about Sierra Club. I mean, yeah, they're a great organization. They do a lot of stuff. I mean, they seem kind of. Well, no, we don't need to go down all that. I'm feeling a little guilty because they keep reaching out and I keep just not answering back. And it's not because I'm trying to ignore them. It's just I got so many other things going on. Like I'm trying to meet up with an old friend. Like got a lot of work going on, parenting, like life. It's insane. So I mean, it's insane. Good. Finally, a lot of dark years there. But I mean, I feel like everybody has to go through a little of that, especially to appreciate the good things too. And that as a constant reminder, be like, yeah, you can go do these things. But and really, alcohol. That's it. Oh, a little glitch there. Like once you like, if you can give up alcohol, like everything else kind of falls into place. Like it's crazy. And I hate that it's that way because I mean, I used to love drinking beer and like, and alcohol it does have its moments, but then it's like, all the time that you lost, like being hungover and like, and all the weight gain and like, and then all the effort trying to keep the weight off, and then, your mood's all messed up and like your diet's all thrown out of whack and thrown up and, ugh. And then and doing questionable things, like things that you wake up the next day like, I probably shouldn't have done that. So, and the youth too, like here in Fort Collins, like, ugh, going through neighborhoods of younger people and stuff, and just like how like crazy it seems, and then you get to like different other areas of the city, and it's just a lot more calm and relaxed, and yeah. So, anyways, um, sorry, we're building the llama lounge, and we got distracted with all this diorite because I mean that gotta get it when you can. Same with ores. I mean, you can take a time, pause for that. Yeah, we were talking about problem solving. It's just humanity, sociology, society, understanding, and understanding that we're all very similar. Like, if we had the chance to talk to people from other parts of the world, then we would know. I mean, I do. I do it all the time, actually. Well, not all the time right now. I mean, but like, every year there's gonna be a time or two where I'm gonna be like in another part of the world, and it's like, I get to go see that and see what they do, their customs. My favorite is Malaysia, like that place. It was just like being in Leadville looking at a mining town relic, like the way they have museum houses, or they turn houses into museums. Buena Vista has a old courthouse too that has like a train. I hope they still have it. I don't know. I haven't been back there in quite a while, but I mean, it's just historic. Like it's a super old building, um, preserving like the way things used to be back in the Wild West, and like old Colorado, which was part of the gold rush. There's a lot of gold in the mines up there, and then it's and Goblin Brain, Shiny Rock Go Click Clack. No, my parents got a lot of really cool rocks from underground because they both worked in the mines. It's actually how they met. But like rough and tough, like pretty much gold rush gangsters. I mean, they were in the mines, like good old people, good old folks. I want to say good old boys, but my mom being part of the crew, like, women were treated as mostly equals. I mean, still not. And same with today, like Rick and Morty, like kind of call it out, like pay isn't completely equal. However, I would have to see what jobs they are. I don't know. It's just, well, either way, women like that shouldn't be like an automatic thing. Now, if you could do the job and see, not trying to be sexist or anything, but like a lot of times, on average, but I say that I know some gals that very strong, can very well keep up with, like, well, I worked with a bunch at building wind turbine blades like that. So yeah, I can see that driving fork just as good as anybody, like lifting things, but at the same time, like the number of things lifted and like I don't know, it's just a lot easier for a guy, especially to passively get a strong upper body. I mean, but then if you like the guy, that type of guy that works out, and like, of course, most guys are guilty of this, myself included. We almost never do leg day. Like we try to work out, the muscles you see. Like look at the arms, look at the back, look at the blah blah blah. Then you got those chicken legs going on. That's why you still got to balance it out. And I do leg day every now and then, but I'd say I do leg day about as much as I floss. That's horrible, and I'm getting better. I do floss about 2 times a week now, but there was a time in my life I would go weeks without flossing. And then be like, oh shoot, I should probably do that. And then now I'm a little more conscious about it, especially like I take a gander in the mirror and if I can see some white crud, I'm like, yep. And I even got the water pick, so I gotta do that. I know we were talking problem solving, but I mean inequality. That is a pretty big problem. That's stemming, I want to say, mostly from religion, like because just the way that, at least in Christianity, and I don't think Islam is much better. And Judaism, I don't know, Judaism like throws me for a loop. Like it's a much older religion, and like some guy was actually pointing out that they actually do talk about how the Earth is a circle. Um, in something, but it, I don't know. And I could be wrong. There could be in the Bible like evidence that the Earth is round, but honestly, after that whole debacle with Copernicus and the geocentric solar system versus the solar centric, like the sun in the middle, um, they were gonna. I don't, maybe they even did. I don't know. They burned a lot of people back then, but like they were trying to execute him, and it might have been Copernicus. It might have been like Galileo or like pretty sure it was Copernicus. But I mean, one of the famous like astronomers of the past said, "Hey, I think the sun is the center of the Earth, or center of the solar system, or whatever like the closest is." And they could see other planets and stuff, and they had their telescopes, and it's like, well, no, I've been tracking like the trajectory or like the positions, and this is how they change. And now it's a lot easier to see that. And actually, I once I get some money saved up, I think I found something that I'm gonna get. I gotta save up for it though because it's a bit ridiculous. It's like 160 bucks, or even more than that. I think it might be like closer to 170, 175 for 6 of these orbs. Now, I'm part of a Facebook group that's like that don't want to say the name gets censored, but wizard memes basically, and it's a bunch of AI generated pictures of wizard stuff or like, and some of it might not even be AI. Some of it might be like people's actual handiwork, but it's basically just memes about I cast this spell and it's some ridiculous thing like wet socks. Or and then it's like I can't think of any great examples off the top of my head, but it's a hilarious one. That's why I started off with like the witches and wizards. That's just dumb. Women wizards and men wizards, like that should be a thing. And human wizards, like human and women. If we could get that to go, or at least just say human, for congressman, businessman, or actor, it should all refer to humans. Men, women doesn't matter. I mean, this whole feminine, masculine thing, which is hard because Spanish, like, there's a lot that rides on it. Like, how are you gonna do that? Like, oh man, I can't even imagine. But like referring to something as masculine or feminine, and it's like, wait, no, it's the other way. So, and their words are way different. Hombre and mujer. Yeah, hombre and mujer, which is still kind of like you're spending more time and effort on saying the woman versus the men. Hombre, 2 syllables. Mujer, 3 syllables. Like already it's like 50% more work to say mujer than hombre. Right, so just little things like that, you know, and the fact that women weren't really in the workplace, and a lot of the work used to be extremely dangerous, and like people get killed, fingers chopped off, whatever. Like, women and children first has always been a thing. Like, anyone who's seen the Titanic movie, that's very true. Like, captains of the ship used to do women and children first, because the likelihood that people would survive was very thin. So the men would do the honorable thing and sacrifice themselves. So, and over time, that just became like I don't know. And even recently, I saw some garbage, like some people arguing that women shouldn't vote. Like, or are they part of the selected service? Well, they're not part of the draft, and I think even that might have changed, but like they can't be drafted. So, yeah, there was a little inequality there. However, they do serve, and there was like this one example of this lady that was in some government. I think she lost both her legs. Like, I don't know. I saw her picture, and I don't really remember. She had some disability that like she got from a war, and just as gruesome as anyone else. And she served in some very respectable positions. So I don't know, just telling a person that they can't have a say in what's going on. I mean, and the fact that we're trying to phase war out altogether, it's just nonsense. We've been saying it for many years, but I mean now with all this enhanced accountability, we've got videotapes and pictures and statistics and real-time things going on and reporting and like, because back in the day it used to just be like the noble reporters that would go there and be there and like, and there was a lot harder to do that. Now it's like any yokel with a cell phone could be like, hey, check this out, or hey, this is what's going on, and then broadcast that to the world, and then bada bing, instant accountability. And now we're talking about war crimes, like the fact that they might get caught, arrested, and even killed themselves for doing all this stuff. So there's a little bit of accountability there. Now, granted, it's not a great level of accountability because we still have this stuff going on currently, and like, but it's better than we've had, and that's why I am hopeful that it's going to continue to get better. But like we're a long ways from anything that resembles good. Let's see what I want to get rid of. 'Cause I do want the ores. Let's get rid of this. Okay, there we go. 12 ore for that. Also, we should probably put this here. That. Yep, we're clearing out the llama lounge. Getting quite a bit of diorite too. Actually, that's what we should do. We got 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and fill this up and let's go build. Let's just go build a house, you know, and put like. So keep talking about doing it, then I'm not gonna do it. It's just gonna continue to just be like lollygagging and slacking off. So, because basically what we need to do is already being done. Like it's being done by other people. Whoa, where did I come from? All right, cool. Wow, that is awesome. All right, can make some stairs. Let's go drop this off. We're building the llama lounge. Actually, what we could do, let's continue building the llama lounge, and then we'll just put the stuff in there. Like we got, okay, there's like some stuff. Doesn't have to be some big fancy temple out and like to see. Although I like the idea of that eventually having stuff that you could just stand up and point to. Be like, you know, go up here. 'Cause you can see that. And be like, okay, there's that. And there's the problem area. We'll go over there and visit the problems. And it'll be like a little like hellscape over there with where all those things are. And then solutions. Ah, see, problems, solutions. That kind of dichotomy or that dual nature of good and evil, right and wrong. Even though most of us live in the middle somewhere, it's not realistic to say that. Like, you know, there's right and wrong, black and white, like pure and evil, like matter, antimatter. Okay, that one might actually be, but for the most part, no. Uh, let's get some stairs. Okay. Smooth stairs. I actually got some of the cracked. That's what I feel like it looks like. It's just like cracked marble. Whereas this looks like marble. Very fancy. Okay. Let's get some of these for the floor. And I don't know, we'll just build one of these just so we can have it. But basically, I don't know. There's a lot of things that we should be able to fix as a society, and I think that's also why I love Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, because they point out a lot of it. It's like basic things that just make you go, huh, you know what, that is kind of messed up, or I can relate to that. We need to fix that. But I mean, and oh, whoa, whoops, that's right. We got a gap there. So we'll just we'll leave that open for now. It's like, how far am I going? Pretty gnarly. Okay. I mean, usually I just keep going. Oh, we're still 40 units in the, or above zero. That's interesting. Eventually we're gonna run into, or possibly gonna run into that, and we can't make it like too deep. Like the actual llama lounge really needs to be something like this, you know, or at least like a room of it. We can keep the stairs, and they can just wander wherever they want, I suppose. I feel like we do need to still block off something. Ah! Oh no! Just keep falling. All right. So, anyways. But no, in the law, like ending the war on drugs is basically what we need to do because so much stuff culminates from that. Like it might not seem as all that significant until you see that everything is connected. So you know, it starts with they get in trouble for having something. Usually it's just like a little bit of weed or something. And then next thing you know, they're on probation. Well, on probation means you got to meet a probation officer. You got to do UAs, you got to, you know, drug testing, and then they're going to know if you're doing stuff. Whereas, yeah, I don't know. And then you got to pay for it too. So already you're encouraged to take shortcuts and get money in sketchier ways than you normally would have because it's like, oh, phew, man, I got to pay for all this. Like, UAs used to be like $10 or $12. Now I want to say they're at least 15. So, and I got, I'm still a little steamed about getting a traffic cam ticket because I was 2/10 of a second before the red light. I mean, it was yellow, but I wasn't across that line, and they did a photo finish, and I got to see it, and so I got to pay it. It's a $75 ticket. But I mean, that's actually more doable now. I'm angry by it, but that's not like a deal breaker. Now, back when I'm only making like maybe well, what would be a good estimate? Because I made about 515 for my first job. That was back in like early 2000s. In fact, it was right around the turn of the millennium. I think it was when I had my first job. So that's just kind of like a frame of reference. Like, okay, that's how it was. But so yeah, you imagine like 20 to 40 hours a week, $5. So, oh, yay, you can get like 100 to 150 a week, and that's before taxes too. And so, which is ridiculous because that would be like the majority of a week's worth of work as a kid. That's insane. Like, okay, I'm gonna work for a week because I ran a red light. Like, ugh. And so, and that's a light thing. That's a very small thing. Now, granted, I mean, there was a time my buddy got caught shoplifting, and his punishment was um, like 97.50, almost $100. So he basically paid that, but he stole from a store and got caught. And like that, I feel like that's a lot more like running a red light. And 2/10 of a second too. I mean, granted, I know it's wrong, but it happens so much in Fort Collins. And by the way, not just the normal cars, by the police officers too. And so, now they could say, "Oh, well, I was on my way to this, or that," or we joke about it, or there's a joke in the Super or what? Not Super Troopers. What movie is that? Um, Super Bad. There you go. The cops in Super Bad, like they just turn the lights on when a light's about to turn red, and so they can just go through the stoplight. They're like, nope, I don't want to stop for this. Like abusing power, basically. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'll pay the fine, and I have a job now that I can actually like pay stuff like that. Not all the time. Like, good lord, that'd be annoying. But there's some people out there that okay, it just starts like that. And whoa, 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 what is this? Did I already start to do this? I already started to build the llama lounge. It looks like, yeah, because I even put a. All right, well now we got a couple entrances to the llama lounge. Let's continue to carve it out. So, anyways, like if you're only making minimum wage, oh no, 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 you, sir, need to get out. I don't want you getting lost down here. Wait, where'd you go? Oh man, that's not good. How far did he go? Is he like in here? Or maybe he just walked back out. Either way, I don't really want that happening because I've had villagers wander off and just kind of like start dying. Hmm. There we go. A lot less likely. And eventually I can put gates here. And that way they won't out. And then the llamas won't get out. Of course, I need to make this two units tall. So, anyways. I don't know. So basically the moral of that story, and I think it was like less than $5 worth of goods. So that kind of seems more like the punishment fitting the crime. And that they just paid for, all sorts of other times that they might have stolen or someone else might have stolen. So, okay, that covers some losses. But I mean, I don't know. The war on drugs is just seems ridiculous. It's just a way to squeeze money from people and usually it's almost always going to be someone from lower to middle class, like economically. Um, at least the ones that get caught. It's not that they're the only ones experimenting with substances. The wealthy, I mean, you hear all sorts of stories about the bourgeois elite and like, the fancy. It's because they can afford places to go hide and do these things, and it's like, wow, okay, Mr. Fancy there, and like, so they don't get caught. It's not just Hunter, like it's a lot of people, like I mean, you hear about like CEOs and executives having wild parties and doing things and this and that, and like, but they can afford it. Or get a taxi or an Uber, and like, not saying that it's okay to drink and drive, but like that's what usually gets a lot of people, especially in a college town, caught or like in trouble. And the next thing you know, like a DUI is what, like $13,000. I do have a lot of friends that got DUIs, not me, thankfully. I was lucky. Not that I like drank and drive a lot, but I mean, there's probably a few times where maybe I was just that one beer too much or whatever. Like I never drove dangerously. Like if I didn't feel confident in driving, I didn't drive, and I would calculate like, okay, like a beer per hour, and then because we just had to assume that there's a good chance we were gonna get pulled over and do a breathalyzer, so we'd have to be like, all right, am I okay? Because a lot of times you're gonna feel okay, and especially when you're drinking, you've got that skewed sense of reality to where, oh yeah, I got this, my inflated, ego, sense of self-esteem or whatever, like, all right. It is past the 30. I need to get back to chores, and I might actually do up some Bloodborne. So let's finish this segment, get this all up. Nice wizard living is supreme, because women is wizards too. What is that? Women is players too. That's true. I mean, they can hustle just as much as the guys and everyone in between. Like, there should be no distinction. So, okay. Well, ta-ta for now. Oh, sorry. I thought that had a black cap, but I was just looking at the background. Anyways, ta-ta for now. I will see you in the next one. And maybe we'll have a finished llama lounge. Maybe. It's a pretty big maybe. So, alright, see you there.